St. Johns County, a place where the tourists outnumber the residents. And in the midst of all the wealth, those with almost nothing.
I'll tell you what, I'll give you everything I got for 20 bucks.
They're on the street corners, by historic structures, and tucked away beyond the lavish landmarks.
I'm pretty much more from Jacksonville.
Charlie Nathan is 47.
Even though it's just a tent, you have some place to sleep.
He lives in one of the hidden homeless camps in St. Johns County.
3 years. Okay. It's been kind of off and on, but...
First Coast News captured this rare video of his homeless camp. It expands for acres. It's full of tents and tarps and other people.
It's kind of like our own small group. We don't just let a bunch of drunks and idiots hanging out here with us.
There's a table with cooking materials. They get food at food banks and with
food stamps. Some of the people get food stamps.
Wild animals are an issue, but
we got this crazy dog around here, pretty much takes care of that.
Humans might be the biggest danger in homeless camps. Stress and other stimulants can spur violence.
People have been killed out here, beaten up. I guess last year at some point there was a lady actually raped out here from what I heard. So yeah, it does get dangerous.
If you want homeless.
Nathan and others here get work with labor pools, but he says he doesn't have enough money to get out of this hidden community just yet. A place he fell into when his life came untied years ago.
Wife passed away and everything just kind of went downhill from there. And of course, being an alcoholic. That just kind of got full blown.
Many homeless camps are scattered throughout St. Augustine. A lot of them are just off of main roads like US 1 here. And most of them are out of sight. And the reason for that is the homeless don't want to be found out. That's because the camps are on private property. Essentially, the homeless are trespassing. And a big fear for many homeless is
being chased out from one place, having to go find another.
Will Jackson and Karen Tryon met and married while being homeless.
I'm comfortable where I'm at.
They've lived in camps for years. Tryon became homeless.
Probably because of the drugs.
And Jackson, a veteran, says it was because of a
divorce, drinking too much, ended up without a place to stay.
And they choose to be homeless.
Why? I'm so curious.
Because I live it out here. I don't have to worry about anything. Paying rent, lights. Nobody bothers me.
Mary Ann Cook is also homeless, but she's not in the woods.
It rained here yesterday for a little bit.
She stays and works at the St. Francis House, a homeless shelter in downtown St. Augustine. She used to work in a bakery factory in Central Florida, and then she hit rock bottom.
I use both liquor and pills just about equally. So you can imagine, I had...
She was a mess.
Renee Morris directs the St. Francis House, the only homeless shelter in St. Johns County.
It's very disheartening sometimes.
According to last year's St. Johns County's homeless census, there were more than 1,300 homeless people in a county where the only homeless shelter can house 60 people.
That is horrible math on who I can help and who I cannot help.
Hear the sirens from the ambulance.
So that's why some believe homeless camps have sprouted up and pathways into the woods have formed because the people simply have to go somewhere. St. Johns County sticks out in some ways. There is no detox center, the one here dried up years ago. There is no addiction rehab, and there is hardly any government subsidized housing.
And I think that leaves possibly more people unhoused and out on the street than might be in other communities. This building.
David Hoke is the executive director of Home Again St. John's, a group hoping to create a bigger homeless emergency shelter on State Road 207 in St. Augustine.
Some shelter beds.
He says it's to St. Johns County's advantage because the local economy is driven by tourism. And he says popular tourist locales have been identified as the wrong places for the homeless to be. So that leaves the streets and the woods. But Nathan doesn't complain.
I don't stand out here in these woods and make excuses for myself either. I'm not going to whine and cry because I'm homeless. I'm not going to, it's not everybody's fault because I live out here in these woods. It's my own doing.
But he does want people to know
we're no different than anybody else.
Nathan has flaws, and he has dreams, and the path he chose just so led him into a hidden camp in the woods. In St. Johns County, Jessica Clark, First Coast News, 1225.